former President Donald Trump is threatening lawsuits over how brutally he was depicted in a biopic titled The Apprentice, which premiered at Cannes yesterday. Now, one of the film's billionaire investors is reportedly livid about the portrayal of Donald Trump in this film because he thought that by funding the film, he was funding a pro-Trump biopic, but apparently that's not the case. Now, obviously, this film, The Apprentice, premiered at Cannes yesterday. We have not seen it, so we can only go off of what has been described in the film. So that includes some unsavory elements of Trump's past, including allegations that he got liposuction and surgery to remove a bald spot, which, look, if true, I don't care. Like I don't even find, okay, and I don't personally find it embarrassing or anything like that. Anyway, taking amphetamines, receiving oral pleasure from another woman while he was married to his ex-wife, Ivana, who has since passed away. And most controversial, the film depicts him sexually assaulting Ivana, which is something that she had actually outlined during divorce proceedings, but later recanted. Now, here is the Trump campaign's furious response to the film. Quote, "We will be filing a lawsuit to address the blatantly false assertions from these pretend filmmakers. This garbage is pure fiction, which sensationalizes lies that have been long debunked. As with the illegal Biden trials, this is election interference by Hollywood elites who know that President Trump will retake the White House and beat their candidate of choice because nothing they have done has worked. This film is pure malicious defamation, should not see the light of day, and doesn't even deserve a place in the straight to DVD section of a bargain bin at the soon to be closed discount movie store. It belongs in a dumpster fire." That descriptive language is impressive. Now, the film's director, Ali Abbasi, has responded to the legal threats by saying, quote, "Everybody talks about Trump suing a lot of people. They don't talk about his success rate, though," essentially implying that, sure, he can go ahead and sue us, but he doesn't have a case. There's no merit here. But that's not the only legal threat the film is facing. They're also facing legal threats from one of the funders, one of the billionaire donors of the film. His name is Dan Snyder. Cenk has all sorts of interesting information and tidbits on this guy, but he invested in the film because he thought that it was going to have a favorable portrayal of Donald Trump. But as you can tell by now, the film is anything but. And so Snyder wanted to make changes to the film. He wanted to recut the film before it was released for wide release. But unfortunately for him, the company through which he invested in the film does not own the copyright of the film. They don't own the intellectual property. And so according to Variety, which broke this story, that means Snyder cannot kill the film despite how rich he is and despite how much he desperately wants to do so.
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you.
So there's a hilarious irony here related to Citizens United, which I'm excited to tell you about in a second. But first, on the substance of the charges, look, I don't know anything about the amphetamines. People keep saying that. I've never seen any evidence of it. Doesn't mean it's not true, doesn't mean it is true. I have no idea, right? So did I see him do these things to Ivana? No. Did she describe them in great detail in her divorce proceedings? Yes. So, hey, it's a divorce proceeding. Sometimes people say terrible things that aren't true in divorce proceedings. So, take it with a grain of salt. But she had an enormous amount of detail about how he got hair plugs. He said these things. And by the way, she wrote that all the way back when they were getting divorced a long, long time ago. And if you read it, it sounds just like what Trump would say, yelling at her, et cetera. And then he drags her by the hair and rapes her, okay? So that is, you remember the P. Diddy video where he dragged the Cassie Ventura by the hair? That's what Ivana said that Trump did to her and then raped her on top. Okay, so okay, but And not only that, he's been convicted of in civil case of sexual assault, but I'm sure he's an angel and never did anything wrong, etc. for the people who believe in him. Anyways, so in terms of him suing, it's all bluster. He does it 1,000 times. That's why they're taunting him with it. He always bluffs. Oh, I'm gonna sue you. You better not. That's gonna cost you a lot of money. Blah, blah, blah. But he never has any evidence. So when they go to court, he folds immediately. Okay. Now, the Citizens United irony here. Citizens United was actually doing a movie about Hillary Clinton before the elections. Very similar to this. And the Supreme Court said, oh yeah, they're allowed to do that. And then they went on to then legalize bribery and use that movie as an excuse. So if you say that the people making this movie shouldn't be allowed to do it about Donald Trump, then you're saying they shouldn't have been able to show that movie about Hillary Clinton. And so be careful what you ask for, because they could use it to shut down a lot of different kinds of speech. Now, there's a ton of ironies there because the Supreme Court took that movie in such a bizarre direction. And like I said, made bribery pretty much legal in America through campaign contributions. But so you do not, like if you're a Republican who wants, you're genuine and you want to get rid of the swamp, trying to ban this movie is not the right way to do it. Okay, so and then lastly about Dan Snyder. So he was luckily the owner of the Washington Commanders. Luckily, he's no longer the owner, and he was a terrible owner. Everybody in Washington despises him. He's a terrible human being in every way. There's never been an article written about him from insiders who didn't just, paint a picture of a significantly gross and disgusting man, right? And I have one little tidbit that I'll make a quick story from. Somebody I know goes to his house. The kids are going to the same school. There's a sleepover. It's a nice little heartwarming story so far. And he says to him, "Hey, thanks, Dan, for having the kids over. I really appreciate it." And Snyder says to him, "It's not Dan, it's Mr. Snyder." Okay, that's the kind of jerk this guy is. So I love that he got rooked and they used his money to make an accurate movie about Donald Trump.
You know what? That story is so strange to me because you're a billionaire. Who cares?
Who cares?
If I'm a billionaire, call me whatever you want. You don't get under my skin at all. I'm a billionaire. I'm in Sorrento. Okay. I'm in Sorrento. I'm drinking a limoncello.
Sorrento's, which is a sub shop in New Jersey. And so, but yeah, take a load off, man. But he's so deeply insecure, pathetic little man. So he's like, I wanted to pay for propaganda about the guy who's going to give me more tax cuts, but you wouldn't do the propaganda. Oh, poor little baby.
That is a really funny part of the story. The other thing I'll just say is, look, as I mentioned earlier, we haven't seen the film because it premiered at Cannes literally yesterday, which means that Donald Trump also hasn't seen the film. And so threatening a lawsuit seems a little premature, no? Because in order to pursue a defamation lawsuit, you would have to watch the film and find the defamatory elements of the film that you would then base your lawsuit on. So there might be some bluffing here, we'll see.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.